Pisces, what's going on with y'all? What's going on? 1 2 1 2. Oh, it look like I gotta turn that up. Said I gotta turn that microphone up. Let me see. Yeah, for sure. Alright, y'all should be able to hear me better now. Pisces, what's going on with y'all? Miss y'all. I kind of like did a reading not too long ago for us though, right? I'm a Pisces, by the way, in case you're crosswise. Or if you're new to this channel, I appreciate you for being here. Let me get this situated first. I may cuss, but I don't curse. Bars, because I'm nice and all that. True talk though, if you need me or you want me, there's a difference between the two, but it might be both. For products and services, you can go into the description box and it'll have a whole lot of links that you could click and you can navigate so you could, get in tune with what I have to offer and then make your choice, make your selection. All right, that's that part. Now, what's the next part for us? What's going on? Look, I gotta talk to y'all, man. I gotta do another reading. I felt like I gotta do this reading anyway. I just felt led to it because, well, you'll see. It's either a group of people are talking about or someone wants to talk to you about something, but it may not be something that you want to talk about. You're trying to avoid it. You're like, that's not what I want to talk about. Or a group of people, or they're part of a group of people that talks about people, and you're like, that's not your thing. You don't want to talk about that. At this time, anyway. So, where are we going to begin? We're going to begin with this blind spot deck. The reason why I say that is because I've been in the other world too. I had a dream. If y'all want to hear this reading too, just type collective in the comment section. But I had this dream. I almost made it a Pisces reading too, and I'm like, well, there's a few things jumbled up in there, but what I've seen in the dream pertains to bars are nice, right? But what I've seen in the dream pertains to a lot of what I was talking about in the collective reading, the last collective reading that I did. So I'm like, maybe this is just part 2 of the collective reading and giving me some insight into the collective reading. It's kind of gossipy. I ain't even gonna hold you, or it's kind of seems like it anyway. Felt like it. It's tea, yo. I'm just keeping it a beam with you. It's tea. You know what I'm saying? Spiritual tea. The other world is wild right now. But I'm gonna start off with this blind spot oracle deck, and I'm going to explain to you something that happened to me. Now, this was not a dream, and this happened in real life, y'all. This is real life. So I'm going to tell y'all what happened in real life. All right. The other day, was it last night? Yesterday, Now, if you would have asked me then, I would have said something like, I almost died, or I could be dead right now, or something like that. However, being that I've made it, and today is today, I'm looking at it like it was a drill. So this is probably what I'm naming the video. This is how I'm coming. Pause. That's crazy. But this is how I'm doing this right now. It was a drill. And I know this now because, like I said, I survived. You know what I mean? I've been in situations like this before where I think when you're new getting into these types of situations, that's the dramatic response. Or that's the, if you tell somebody else, they might get so dramatic about it and be like, oh my goodness, you could have died and da-da-da-da-da. But the more that things like this has happened to me, I come to realize that they're drills. I'm feeling like I'm needing to tell y'all this because, most importantly, Jupiter had just stationed into Gemini. And for Pisces people, right, under the solar dial, under the solar zodiac, Gemini is the 4th house for us. All right? Gemini is the 4th house for us. So let me tell you what happened at my home. 4th house moves over home, right? So it's the other night, as a matter of fact. I'm on my way to sleep. I'm in the bed. It's 11 o'clock. I get woken up at 11:20 something. 11:22, 11. It was something like that. So knocking at my door, right? I'm like, yo, who could this be? I'm not expecting anyone. Why is anybody knocking at my door? So at first, I'm about to not get up, and I just fell asleep, yo. When you just fell asleep? I just fell asleep. I felt like I was going to go into a dream. Didn't get there. And I'm telling myself, I'm not getting it, because that's how I am. If I'm not expecting nobody and somebody's knocking on my door, I'm not even answering it. You're not even getting an answer from me. You're not supposed to be here. That's how I look at it. But they knocking. And then I'm hearing commotion and footsteps outside of my door and stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, it's more than one person out there. And I do hear a voice that I recognize. So it's the manager. It's like a manager of my co-op, right? You know, they have elections every year and all that type of stuff, right? It's a real community thing. So Gemini rules over community. Y'all pay attention, right? Gemini rules over community, and the building manager just happens to be my neighbor. If I haven't mentioned before, I have fantastic neighbors. You know what I'm saying? To the right of me, to the left of me. They all my whole floor. They just fantastic. I just got to keep it a being. Like, I got lucky. You know what I mean? I lucked up. This story is about luck. This story is about, I could title this Jupiter in the 12th or Jupiter in Gemini or something like that too. We're going to get to that. So I recognize the voice of my building manager. So I'm like, okay, it's probably him. But I could tell that he's with other people now. I hear mad feet shuffling and they're going back and forth and they're going to door. So now I'm like, okay, this must be something that's more like community based or something, whatever the case may be. So I get up, I go to the door. I open the door. I see him and the people. At first I said, yo, what's up? You know what I mean? And he was like, do you have your stove on in your house? I'm like, no. He was like, are you sure? I'm like, I had it on earlier. I was cooking, which I was. I was cooking and I was baking. You know what I mean? I was like, I had it on earlier, but I don't got it on now. He was like, can you please check? Can you make sure? So I could see my stove from my door. And I'm like, I know I ain't leaving my stove on or nothing like that, but I go check anyway, just because. You know what I'm saying? Turn the light on, go look, everything good. So I go back to the door, and again, I hear them shuffling, walking back and forth. I see them on my peephole and all that, right? So I go back to the door, I unlock the locks. I'm like, let me see what's going on. So I unlock the locks, I pop out. I'm like, oh. The smell of gas was so strong, like it literally knocked me back, right? I'm keeping it a bean, y'all. It knocked me back. I'm like, yo, what the? And he seen my face. He was like, you smell it? I was like, yeah. He was like, does your apartment smell like that? I'm like, nah. He was like, you sure? I'm like, I'm positive. If I'd have smelled something like this, like I'd be out there with y'all. I said, yo, what's going on? He said, well, one of these apartments, there's a gas leak somewhere. There's a gas leak somewhere, and it's got to be one of these apartments. I'm like, you sure it's one of these apartments? He was like, it's got to be. But the smell was so strong, I agreed with him immediately. Like, yo, it had to be one of these apartments, right? So it's not his, because he's my neighbor too. It's not, or somebody moved out across from me. They ain't fill that apartment up yet. So we're thinking, okay, it must be that one. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they did some maintenance work and they was trying to fix the stove and they left the gas on or whatever. So he like, yo, we going back and forth. We got security up there, security for the complex, y'all. Going back and forth with us, you know what I'm saying? So my building manager like, yo, call 911. I'm like, all right. He was like, get the fire department. I'm like, all right. So I grab my cell phone. I dial 911. Guess what, y'all? 911 answers the phone. They cannot hear me. I'm like, hello, hello, hello. They're like, 911, 911, 911, 911. I'm like, hello, hello. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? They can't hear me. Click. They banging on me. I'm like, oh. I call again. I'm like, yo, what's good with y'all? 911, what's good? You know what I mean? Nothing. Same thing. Can't hear me. Can't hear me. Can't hear me. Because I called twice. Can't hear me. Oh man, here we go. So now my building manager, he looking at me, he like, yo, what's going on? He was trying to like tell me like, yo, you got it hooked up to the headset or whatever. I'm like, nah, I don't even got those earpieces no more. Like I use the wire, you know what I'm saying? I be trying to like, another story. But anyway, I'm like, nah, I don't got no headset. So we had security tell somebody else to call the fire department instead. So I'm like, at first, like, that's what I said. On the first day, I'm thinking, okay, somebody trying to knock me off. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Somebody have to be a something. Why my phone go dead and stuff like that. But this is why I'm telling you, this is a drill. This is a Jupiter drill. This is how you know it's major arcana stuff, major events in your lives, things that are out of your control. Long story longer, though, fire department gets there about maybe 4 to 5 minutes later, too. Pretty quick. Response was pretty quick. Because the security just went downstairs somewhere and had somebody call 911 after my call failed. So after the call failed, I'm thinking to myself, like, this is probably a good time to like get my stuff and run out of the building. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, if it crossed my mind, but my feet wasn't matching that energy. And I was just like standing there looking like, you know, we probably gonna blow up any minute now. Or maybe not. But I just felt like I just felt like I wanted to stay. I just felt like I wanted to stay and like help the builder man, because he wasn't going nowhere. And then security came along, he wasn't going nowhere. So it's like the three of us, we got other neighbors, but they either not home or they're not coming out. So I'm just like, yo, I'm hanging out. Like I grabbed my keys. I came out my apartment into the hallway. I locked my apartment up, and I just waited for the fire department too. So the fire department gets there, and they got those radar guns, like, you know, so they could find out where the gas is actually coming from. So they walked past the apartment that's vacant. They walked to the apartment that's behind mine, like right next to mine, and that shit started heating up. They was like, it's in here. They was like, it's in here. We was like, you sure? It's like, it's in here. It's in here. So do you know where they at? X, Y, and Z. Now, mind you, right? These are my neighbors, right next door neighbors, right? So I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, like, yeah, I didn't hear the kids today because they got kids next door. I'm like, I didn't hear the kids. Sometimes y'all be hearing the kids in the background, right? That's how close they are. So I'm like, yeah, I didn't hear the kids today or whatever. And I usually hear them kids. Them kids is like, there's like 4 of them now. So I watched all of them grow up from like babies to, you know what I'm saying? Like, and they some wild little kids. Like, you know, kids will be kids, you know what I'm saying? But they loud, put it that way. It's like you can't miss them. So, but I was noticing lately, like, and if any of this resonates with you, just get in the comment section and say, oh yeah, you know, help me out so I don't feel like I'm just totally crazy or whatever. So, I've noticed that the woman who lives next door, like she usually takes the kids out to the park, you know what I'm saying, and do the 1-2 like that or whatever the case may be. But I noticed she's like been letting them play in the hallway, and like her face has been down a little bit, you know what I'm saying? So I think, I could be wrong, and I might be even wrong for saying this, but I think like maybe the kids was getting to her, or she's just a bit overwhelmed with being a mom and looking after 4 kids. She got 4 now, you know what I mean? And it's like, you know, because I'm attentive. I notice even if I walk through real quick, you won't notice that I'm looking at you, or I glance at you. You won't notice how much data I could pick up with a glance, you know what I mean? But I'm on my business. I say what's up and I keep it pushing, you know what I mean? But I'm trying to think to myself, like, what would make them leave the gas on? Like, as you know, those alarm things, they weren't working. So my building manager, he asked me if mine came on. I'm like, nah. But again, you know what I mean? Maybe it didn't seep under the door and get into my apartment. I don't know. You know what I mean? But mine didn't go off. His didn't go off. And the one inside of their apartment didn't go off either, because the fire department kicked down the door. Boom. They hacked that bitch open. Like 3 minutes, that shit was open. And my neighbors got locks on top of locks, on combination locks, all kind of crazy ass locks. I'm like, goddamn. Like, they were secure, you know what I mean? But it didn't matter. Like, when the fire department got that axe and all that, like, it didn't matter. Boom, the door gets done open. They put everything where it needs to be put, you know, relieve the situation. It surely was left on. They're out of town somewhere. I still don't think they're back. So just, that's another thing. Like, they're not back. I'd have heard them, I'd have seen, they're not back. Whatever the case may be, told us what happened. And we had to call National Grid. We had to call the gas company in order to, you know what I mean, shut the whole line off. Like, you got to shut the whole line off. So that Grid, shout out to them too. They was there in like a minute. I don't know how they got there so fast. Like, that's my word. Like, they was there in seconds damn near. So they came, they cut the gas line off. They was like, all right, just everybody stay away from there, you know what I mean? The super finally came. He checked the vacant apartment, made sure there was nothing going on in there. He fixed the door up decent enough so that no one could, you know, get into the apartment while the neighbors were still away. My point here is, listen, it was a real community effort. Gemini rules over community, right? So like I said, at first glance, first day, I'm like, okay, somebody trying to off me. Like, somebody trying to get me out of here. Like, how could that even happen? You know what I'm saying? And, you know, there were, you know, we're having discussions, political discussions about Jewish people. I'm just keeping it a bean. I'm just putting it out there. You know what I'm saying? This is the stuff that we talk about. Like I told y'all, I might even start being political in some type of way. But, you know, we're having real discussions about Jewish people and how the publications say this and then the publications say that, and how they get the bad rap for this, but then they get the good rap for this. And how, you know, we was talking about how, like, publications be biting them in the ass because the stuff that they say comes back to haunt them. It's just like, you probably shouldn't have even said that. It's like with them, like, bad press is not good good press. All press is not good press when it comes to them. I'm just keeping it a bean. Maybe y'all can pick something up from that. If you are Jewish, like, yo, just chill with the newspaper articles or whatever y'all got going, because it's like that's not working in your favor. I'm telling y'all. I'll be around, boots to the ground. But anyway, but you know, that divisive type of thinking, and you know, we were just having conversation, just mere conversation, Gemini energy, right? But at the same time, like I was explaining before, like Gemini can be very double-minded. I think I even brought that up in the collective reading, like it's a double-minded situation, you know? So you could be over here with it, then the next thing you know, you're over here with it. You look at it this way, you look at it that way, but how do you truly see it? Can you go to a fork in the road and go straight? Like, how do you? So this drill made me see it how it's supposed to be seen. Like, yo, your neighbors are your neighbors. Y'all look out for each other. Because even and look, see how my phone didn't work? It was like, nah, none of that technology stuff. I was thinking about getting a landline. Let me tell you something, right? I just cut my landline phone off maybe 2-3 years ago. Two years ago. I had a landline in here before because I told you I'd be on that doomsday prep and shit. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, yo, in case all technology go out, I'm at my landline. Like, stop playing with me. But I think the phone disconnect was more even like, stay out of this. I'm showing you something. It was like Jupiter saying, I'm showing you something. Call it God, y'all call it, you know. Of course, I'm saying God too, but I'm just like, yo, Jupiter specifically, because Jupiter just stationed, and when the planet stations a sign, it's very powerful. So it was like showing me, like, you know, you stay out of this. Gemini, you're Pisces. Gemini is your 4th house. You see where your house is, right? Your house is cool. Remember, he asked you, did you smell anything? You ain't smell nothing, right? I'm like, nah, I ain't smell nothing. I'm talking to myself, y'all, but bear with me. Like, nah, I ain't smell nothing. It's like, all right then. Was it your house? No. And this is selfish, right? But it is what it is. I'm telling you what I'm being shown. I'm being taught. So I'm listening. I'm not talking. Like, okay, right. But then I came out. I told you I stepped out. I felt guided. I felt spiritually guided to grab my keys and just step out and help as much as I can. You know what I mean? There was other people coming downstairs and everything. It was kind of wild, yo. So I step out. Now I'm a part of the community, right? Gemini rules over the community, your neighbors, your siblings and stuff like that. So I left my home, came out to join the community. And we're going back and forth, doing whatever we can in our power to make sure that everything is all right. So I'm thinking I'm also being shown that human interaction is going to be, or is still very important, because we are the God vessel. We are, you know, human creation. Technology is the assistant. You know what I mean? It's just like, but we still got it. Like, so to not ever forget that, because we formed Voltron in that whole way. You understand what I'm saying? Like, we really came together and was communicating effectively, efficiently, quickly, doing what we had to do to diffuse the situation, which we did. And I spoke to security because I asked the building manager. I was like, yo, how did you know? Like how did you know to, because what if I'm like, yo, what if we didn't, you know what I'm saying? Like, what if we didn't stumble on this? Who stumbled on this? Who found this out? Because I wouldn't have smelled nothing. I was out. I was going to sleep and I was going to be out. So he told me, he was like, yo, he was walking back and forth in and out his apartment, handling his business, and he didn't even know. He was like, I don't know, something wrong with my smell, and I don't know, but he was like, I felt something kind of funny, but I didn't know. Like, he didn't know. So I'm like, who found out? Security guard raised his hand. He was like, I did. I was like, for real? I was like, you know you a hero, right? He was like, listen, man, it's God. It ain't me, it's God. Pointing to the sky. I don't speak English too well, but I understood what he was saying. You know what I mean? Jamaican dude, I think. And he was like, I pray to Jesus Christ. He was like, because I got to make my rounds around here. And, you know, it could get wild out here, which it can. You know, you see some wild stuff around here. Especially if you looking and you got to, like, make rounds around it's like a 5-building compound. You know what I mean? So he be on point is basically what he was telling me. So he prays every day before he comes into work. So I'm like, he's still explaining to me how it happened. He's making his rounds. He made his rounds up here, and he was just like, yo, he smelled gas. And it was too much. Like, he was like, yo, we got to do something about it. So he went and knocked on the building manager's door, or went and got the building manager or something like that. So I'm just like, yo, you're a hero, B. I said, yo, if you didn't do that, I don't know how much time we would have had, but it wouldn't have been much. Like, that thing been on all day, the whole entire day. Like, I don't know how much time, and then all it takes is the flick of a light switch or something like that to make that, to ignite that. You understand what I'm saying? Once it reaches a certain level. So I was like, yo, you just saved everybody in here. He was like, don't give me the credit. Don't give me the credit. It's like, it's God. It's God. So I'm just like, I'm thinking about astrology, where the planets are and stuff like that. I'm like, yo, there's got to be some Jupiter stuff. And then Jupiter's in my 12th house, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like spiritually guided to watch, observe, not do too much, but do what I can, you know what I'm saying? But like, there was like no fear. It was like absolutely no fear. Like, yo, if it blow, it blow. I don't know if that's a cool thing to say even, but I'm here speaking to y'all right now, you know what I mean? So also, Jupiter rules over expansion. So it's deeper. Jupiter rules over expansion, and it rules over protectiveness. So I was also feeling protected once I thought Jupiter in my mind. I'm like, okay, Jupiter just entered Gemini. I'm doing the calculations in my head while this is happening, but I'm still kind of like startled, you know what I mean? But after I took more time to reflect on it, I'm like, yeah, it was just showing me, like, because resources, right? Jupiter is exalted in the 4th house. Jupiter is exalted in Cancer, which is normally placed in the 4th house, right? So for Pisces people, I'm telling y'all, Gemini is your 4th house. Gemini is your 4th house. So for Jupiter to be there, technically in the solar dial, it's in your 4th house, where it would be exalted at. So a lot of dads, I'm speaking specifically to y'all, or even if y'all are moms, if y'all play like the masculine role, or y'all are like, yeah, or the Jupiterian role in your household, which rules over finances, I would say rule over abundance. You know, Jupiter's a different kind of finances, but especially when it comes to the household, it means that you have the resources and you have the connections to be able to hold down a household to the fullest. So this was just like a drill to understand that the community should have that in play. And again, I think of the wife next door, and I'm not trying to like blame the husband or anything like that, but I'm just thinking about how I thought about her the other day. Like, yeah, she don't look the same. You know what I'm saying? She look kind of a little wore out, and it's understandable. But it's like, you know, I know both of them, and I'm just like, damn, you know, maybe she just got overwhelmed to the point where she forgot. You know what I mean? She forgot, and I think it's important that we like do a check before leaving the house at all times to make sure stuff like that is, you know what I mean, situated. Because again, it was a drill. What would you do in that situation? What would you do moving forward now that you've seen this occur and you survived it? What would you do now? How would you be moving forward? You was protected. I'm also being told to tell y'all are protected, yo. Y'all are protected. But also be aware. To be aware is to be alive, because again, this is a drill. This is a drill. These are drills that are occurring in your life right now. So the importance of it as well is that don't think that there's not danger. I think how Boy said it, Will Smith. I might have said it in a movie or something like that. He was like, danger is very real, but fear is not, or something like that. You know what I mean? So I told you I lost the fear, but I did realize this is a very dangerous situation, and it was. And I've been in very dangerous situations a numerous amount of times, and I'm here to talk about it. So again, I want to tell y'all, this is a drill. Danger is real. Fear is not mandatory. And when you see things once, you'll be able to know what to do the second time around, or, you know, you'll be able to teach. You know what I mean? But yeah, that part. I was kind of long-winded, y'all, but I had to get that out. You know what I mean? It's probably a couple of things that I left out. I'm taking this card. What I just noticed? This is a deck on sigils. This is a sigil deck. Right or wrong, that's a sigil. All of them are like that. 27 on the bottom of the deck. I'm taking one of these cards to set this reading off, Pisces. Alright? So bear with me. This is the year the 8 too. You see it popped out, right? It flew out. Okay, bypassing. Okay. If you have drawn this sigil, what you do not see is that you are bypassing in this situation. Bypassing is a coping mechanism that leads you to believe that actual resolution has taken place when it hasn't. Bypassing or whitewashing is the act of using beliefs to avoid facing or healing one's painful feelings, unresolved wounds, and unmet needs. You know what? I left that part out too, that the fourth house rules over emo. I told you I knew I was missing something because I went over this in my mind before I pressed record. The fourth house rules over sentiment, sentimental value, emotions, emotional attachments, sensitivity, what else? Like erratic responses, things of that nature, the Cancer type stuff, the Cancer type vibes. So that does play a part in some kind of way. All right. It is a state of avoidance. Because it is a state of avoidance, it is a state of resistance. Spiritual beliefs of any spiritual tradition and even simply societal beliefs can provide ample justification for living in a state of inauthenticity. See, I was just talking about society and politics and stuff like that. They can all provide justification for avoiding the unwanted aspect of one's own feelings and state of being in favor of what is considered to be, quotations, a more enlightened or virtuous state of being. In today's world, we have little tolerance for working through our pain. We much prefer instantaneous solutions that involve numbing out pain. When we whitewash over our issues and try to avoid them, it is premature and false transcendence. And it is dangerous because it sets up a major division internally. It creates a definable split between where we really are and where we think we should be. It enables us to lie to ourselves and delude ourselves and live our lives through the projection of a false self. This is not integration. This is selective identification. Oh, this is deep. You see, initially I was there and I didn't want to take it there, and I'm just like, oh yeah, kumbaya, but now it seems like I gotta take it there. I'm gonna repeat that. It enables us to lie to ourselves and delude ourselves and live our lives through the projection of a false self. This is not integration. This is selective identification. When we have been hurt, we so often suppress, deny, and disown the part of us that feels those raw, unresolved feelings and identify with a coping part of ourselves that is beyond it all. We cannot heal unless we are willing to admit to where we are and who we are. Bypassing is like breaking your leg, but being unwilling to admit it, putting a plaster over the compound fracture and trying to continue forward anyway. If you have drawn this sigil, you may be using positives to deny, reject, and disown negatives. For example, you may be using higher spiritual truths to invalidate the parts of lower dimensional reality that you find unpleasant. You may be convinced you are somewhere you are not. Ask yourself these questions. In this situation, am I avoiding the fact that I feel like I am deficient and not good enough or bad by creating a persona of a spiritually transcendent person? Am I using certain beliefs to avoid my pain or problems? Do I feel like the spiritual me is different from the embodied me? Am I using a belief to justify an insecurity within myself? Am I using spirituality or anything else for that matter to avoid looking at things in my reality that I would rather think didn't exist? I'm gonna cop out. I'm gonna cop out to this, and I'm gonna say, yeah, personally, me, yeah, I am. And if y'all look, I'm not asking y'all to say y'all spill on this or whatever the case may be. I'ma just put me on the chopping block. You heard? I fully am immersed in my spirituality right now, where there are things that I find physically unpleasant in my life. And that's the way that I cope. That's the way that I cope. This self-identification that it was talking about, right? Selective identification and not integration. It's somewhere along the lines what I was talking about. I'm speaking about Jewish people freely now. I said the word like 5 times, and I'm hoping I don't get flagged, because that's what I think that's part of the reality that's being talked about with this card being drawn in the number 8. Is like, I gotta walk on eggshells to even say that, because my speech, my communication, the way that I integrate can be threatened by the way I speak about them. You understand what I'm saying? There is also like I said, there's a physical element in my life that kind of like has me look at the integration and I guess selectively identify myself though. Like, you know what I mean? That there is a part that feels segregated. It is a part that feels separate. And you know what I think? I don't know. You know what? I've just read something, right? I watched a video, and I'm doing a video on this. I'm going to dig deep into this. Pause, but that's crazy. I'm going to dig deep into this because, I got the Secret Houses podcast coming back to the forefront, and I'm doing it again this time. I'm gonna do it like I'm gonna really do it this time. You heard? And one of the episodes that I want to do is based upon this short video that I seen, and it said that people with 500, in the range of 500 credit scores, right, live in certain types of neighborhoods, and these neighborhoods are segregated by certain zip codes, and these are the types of establishments that are in these zip codes and in these neighborhoods intentionally, purposely, in contrast to higher and maybe even lower credit scores, right? So when I seen this and I heard this, I was like, that's one of the things that impacted me negatively, because I just went into the 500s maybe about a couple of months ago, and it pissed me off. It pissed me off because I was looking at so many things and I had so many things planned. And, because once you reach a certain score, you're able to do more stuff. Like, it's real. This shit is real. But when that happened, I was so upset, B. Like, yo, damn. And sure, I can fix it. I could get right back to in my 600s and really make a move. Like, I was going to bust a move. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was going to bust a move in addition to what I already got going on. See, look at me being transparent out here. I don't usually do this, but I'm just keeping it a beam with y'all. I told y'all the other reading, like, yo, my personal life is pretty hit. Business is great, but my personal life is shit. You know what I'm saying? Can you tell? Like, I can't even tell, because I be using my spirituality to just be like, well, like I told you, I'm guided. Like, I'm not taking this as serious as everybody else is taking it. I'm not. And if I'm denying something about myself in the process, I feel like but you know what? I feel like I'm aware of it. Like, I just spoke it to y'all. I know what's going on in my life, but I don't feel like panicking about it. I don't feel like crashing over it is mandatory. You know what I'm saying? Of course I feel it. Of course I understand what's going on. But yeah, I'm taking the spiritual route. So I'm trying to see I'm gonna pull some tarot. I'm gonna pull some tarot cards. That was deep, yo. It's still gonna be deep. This is gonna affect me, and even when this is over, this is probably gonna make me turn it up another notch. But you know what? I've been turning it up crazy notches lately too, because that did affect me. I was really about to make a move, and this is why it's important. It's important. I think that's probably got something to do with it too. It's important who you let in your community, who you let into your life, who you let communicate with you, because like it says, like, I'm projecting. Like, I want to project on a situation and some people of how this even happened to me, of why this even happened to me. I really feel like doing that. I've been taking a higher road ever since. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, I'm not going to do that. Just, get back into your spirituality. Y'all know I've been on my spiritual vibe anyway, so it's not like... But sometimes some things, a monkey wrench could get thrown in your life, and then the next thing you know, everything you had going on is like thrown for a loop, B. Let me get back to Pisces people, but I can almost feel that some of y'all are feeling this way. It might not be as personal, it might not be as pressing, but maybe you can identify with self-identifying instead of integrating. And what's weird is, let me shut up. The world in reverse. Something could have been completed, not being completed now. As for Pisces reading, well, here we are. 5 of Wands. This card has just been popping up. Every time I grab this deck, this card pops up. 5 of Wands. Debate, being defensive. There's something in the air, I'm telling you, politically about how we're making decisions, groups, political groups, factions. And this is, I feel like this is sometimes why y'all are questioning your self-identification, like the Tower in reverse. 2 major arcanas out now. Destruction. Competition, destruction. This is just wild, okay? Bypassing. Can't let this stuff bypass, huh? 7 of Pentacles, 5 of Swords in reverse. Goals on the back burner. What I'm seeing here, though, is that the worst has already happened. Right, the loss has been taken. And I'm gathering this is not everybody's reading, I'm gathering. Because this is just real dark, it's full of calamity, I think that's the word. This is not the most positive vibe, as you can hear and see. But nonetheless, I feel it's necessary. Potential is stagnant for some of us. Just keeping it a beam, telling you what I see. Okay, the world. 5 of Wands. Tower in reverse. 5 of Swords. 7 of Pentacles. In reverse. Yeah, potential. It feels like potential is being squandered. I think 7 and 5. Not communicating enough. This is another thing that I've seen. 333 is the only angel numbers that I've seen in like the past week, and I just now seen 444. So I just now seen 444 is when it just passed. But before that, 333 was the only angel numbers I've seen in like a week, and that's not like me. It really isn't. But I feel like this needs to be more communicating. There's been a block or stagnancy in the communicating. Some of y'all feel too proud to reach out to certain people to communicate. I'm hearing. And it probably ain't even that deep. A Knight of Wands in reverse. See, this is what I'm saying. It's not Pisces. It's time to talk. Because that's the integration. That's the integration you're missing out on. You could be spiritual because spirituality takes a lot of isolation. You know what I mean? It does. So now this is starting to really make sense to me. Now this is really starting to warm up. Spirituality takes a lot of isolation, y'all. So sure, you may come to deliver the message when you do come to deliver the message, and that's when you do. Lord knows how long that's going to take, but when you do, you do, right? And whoever is watching you, they may feel like, oh, it's just a beautiful thing. It's great to see you again. I'm glad you have come back, oh wise one, right? I feel it. I do it. But there's another group of people, and I feel this strongly. There's another group of people who are more of what they call realists. And to a degree, they are right. But they are in a lower frequency. Now watch. See, this is how we be. This is how spiritual people be, though, right? Now, I know what you're talking about. They're in a lower vibration. I don't need them around me. This is why I do what I'm doing. I'm going to be all right. I'm like you, Ben. Like, shit going crazy in my life. So what? I'm going to be spiritual. I'm going to be all right. It worked for me before, right? Shit, you ain't blow up, right? You good. That's how y'all on it. Some of y'all are like, nope, don't even start this. We should consider what they got to say stuff. What I am saying is that what we're thinking that happens in our life sometimes, and it don't gotta be financial, it don't gotta be your credit score, right? But it could be something along those lines. It could be something financial. It could be somebody asking you for money and you just like, you got it, but you don't want to give it to them for your own reason. You know what I'm saying? It could be, oh, you gotta shell out a whole bunch of money. Maybe somebody overcharging you for something. Yeah, you got it, but you know you're being overcharged. It could be something like that, right? But these are realistic situations that are happening in our lives, and we're just like, I'll do it tomorrow, or you know what I'm saying? Or I'm gonna just sell it. I don't even want it no more. It costs that much to get fixed. But you need it. You know what I'm saying? And these other people, I feel these other people, this is probably going to be a card that pops out about other people. They are actually looking at you. And they're like, look at you. I can't wait till something happens to you to where you have to explain yourself non-spiritually and come to terms where you live on earth just like the rest of us. This is how they are, though. This is how they talk. I'm telling you. Spirit, give me more clarification on the message here for the Pisces. It came out, but it came out sideways. The Eight of Wands. There is a message coming through, a fiery message, an inspiration. It's good news, but it can get you excited, but then also get you disappointed. Get you excited because what the news pertains. Get you disappointed because it's not going to happen right now. Now, it's going to sound like it should happen right now, and the person that's delivering this is going to sound like strong. This is what I'm thinking. This is, yo, look, I'm telling you. And you're going to be like, yeah, I believe you. When we going to do it? I don't know. But I feel like it's some, because you already took the L. Whoever I'm speaking to, Pisces, you took the L already. Two of Wands in reverse. See what I'm saying? That trip, that fire on fire. You could have made the decision to go. It's kind of like what I said about the credit score. I had plans to go. You know what I'm saying? I had plans to go, V. But now that's postponed. That's postponed. It's probably in relation to this good news too. Some of y'all don't even know that it's postponed until you get this good news. And just like I said, it's gonna be like, oh, so what's up? But we gotta wait. This gotta be done. This gotta be done. What's this? Page of Wands. See, somebody's coming to tell you some good news. Some good news. Fieries, more fire out here. More good news. Communication. But see, this is what I'm saying. This is what we lack in communication in order to be communication for integration, y'all. Because, and it's just like, yo, it's more about finding your vibe and finding your tribe. Bars are nice. We know that already, but this is what I'm feeling and what I'm seeing. Because I'm not telling y'all to go kick it with those people who are talking about you. I'm not. But what I am saying and what I'm feeling from this reading, what I'm seeing from almost blowing the fuck up over here is, I'm also getting this, that there might be some type of lofty thinking that has you kind of like, I'm bigger than this community thing. You know what I'm saying? Like one of those, like, but come on, you live there. So like I said, that might be why what happened with me. Maybe I was too big for my britches. Like, oh yeah, I'm about to be out of here. You know what I'm saying? And not like that again. I planned on still having my feet planted here in a way, but still bouncing. You understand what I'm saying? My attitude was on some like, yeah, you know what I mean? Happy, excited. I didn't feel like it was nothing wrong with that. But maybe I was missing something. 10 of Wands in reverse. I like this card right now. More fire. You know why I like this card right now? Because the burden is lifted. And I can tell you this sincerely. Look, I tell you like this. The burden is lifted of not knowing how. Let me know if that's resonating with y'all. Like, because I just got a lot of information on how I'm going to fix things. You understand what I'm saying? Before, I just really thought I was going to be overburdened with fixing it. And I just kept my eyes peeled, my eyes open, and it came from forms of communication. Like, all Gemini energy is what allowed me to find a solution of how this is going to be fixed. So again, I'm telling y'all, major communication, y'all. Major communication, y'all. And again, what is that? Selective identification. I think you should be selective when making your integration as well. I know the 8 said what it said, but it's just like, yo, the reality of it is, you know what it's like to link up with the people who looking at you like you a spiritual, you know what I'm saying? You know what that's like. Page of Cups in reverse. Emotions is not going to work right now. It's just not. You know, maybe in a different time, you know, you could obtain some magic from a love message. You know what I'm saying? Even myself, I ain't gonna lie, like I kind of got like one of those. What was that? Just about a couple of hours ago, to be real with you. And at first, I didn't even know how to respond, just because I wasn't in that vein. Like, I really wasn't up for the emotional, you know. And I could give it, like I could pour it on. You know what I'm saying? I be knowing what to say, when to say it, how to say it, and everything. But this time, it's just like, man, I had to do something, though. I had to say something, and I did, because I felt like that's a responsible thing to do. Again, communication. But I kept it short and I kept it brief. I kept it kind of like politically correct, to be real with you. With respect, you know, just respectfully. But I didn't get dramatic. I ain't try to pour it on. I ain't try to, you know what I mean? None of that. Because first of all, it was a real situation. Another one. And I didn't feel like it was, you know, I didn't want to turn it into something cute. Not today. Not today. So y'all may be feeling like that as well. 3 of Pentacles. I think, yeah. 3 of Pentacles in reverse. I feel like this is someone. I feel like this is the people that are talking about you. Something about you doing something about teaching and stuff like that. They're not thrilled about that. They're not happy with that. They don't want to see that happen. And it may take long. I feel like a lot of y'all, that's what y'all are doing right now, and it may take a little longer for that to come into fruition. And they'd rather that. But I feel like it's gotta work in your favor. I'm really trying to figure out why there's so much pressure. The Chariot. 5 of Pentacles in reverse. Yeah, you're going to come out of this. You're going to come out of this. This feels like rubber band energy, like pulling a rubber band back, pulling a rubber band back, pulling a rubber band back. Just to see if you're going to give up, yo. Just to see if you're going to give up. Struggle, hardship. That's about to be over, though. Because you're about to chariot this. So, you know, like I said, drills, right? Let's go back to drills. Because the Chariot is coming out. The Chariot is swift moving. Has control over their emotions. So, like I said, you know, emotional messages and stuff like that. We get it. Connect. I'm there for you. You're there for me. And that's great. But we got to get back to being precise, concise, decisive right now. because of what we're facing. And when the Chariot comes out, you're going to be on your journey, more progressive. You're going to obtain the success that not everybody, but a lot of people don't want you to obtain. They're looking at you. They think you're a spiritual, buff? Is that the word? They think you are totally clueless about the real world. But like I said, your loss, you already experienced your loss. You already are obtaining the gains. Some of y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. Not to be in your business or be in your wallet and stuff like that, but y'all know exactly. Like, y'all have, the same way I have found the ways to fix it, y'all have found the ways to fix what it is that I'm talking about. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to grab this deck. This is my newest deck. I think this is this might be my new go-to for the tarot, but I'm going to tell you like this, it's titties everywhere. My chest areola areas everywhere on this deck, so I'm going to be using this in the extended. If you want to know more about this information, but I am going to draw a card from this deck to see if anything is similar. If the same cards come out, that tells me a lot, but sometimes it speaks volumes to me when I'm doing tarot. That one oracle card just set it off. So that blind spot deck is, whew, I asked for it, right? Yo, what's wild is I was talking about sigils for so long. Like, right or wrong, y'all been watching lately? Like, I've been talking about sigils in like the past couple of weeks, I think. Like, yo, we go back in the days, emojis and sigils. That's how we was communicating, emojis and sigils. And now, bomb. Anishka send me the whole sigil deck. Shout out to you, Anishka. Well, yo, it's lit. Okay, what's the Queen of Wands? Yeah, this Queen of Wands. Look at this. Nah, I don't. This card is dope, though. I can't even. Yo, this deck is something. Because I started skimming through this deck before when I first got it. I'm like, hey, yo. I was like, let me just put this down now because I'm going to get way too excited. Now I got it. This is what I'm saying, y'all. I ain't trying to shut down your whole Pisces. You know how we could be emotional when we want to, but we also know how to be the most emotionally mature. And I feel like that's what's at hand right now because we got some things we got to take care of. I feel like the wand energy is what we need to be decisive because it's going to be more in the moment. You know what I'm saying? It's like fire signs, for example, they make split decisions very rapidly, very quickly. You know what I mean? So there really isn't any time to reflect on the emotional part, you know what I mean? To even consider that. It's like, we got to do this. We're going to do this right now. This is, you know how I feel about this card, right? So what does that mean? Why would this pop? This is the first time it's popping up too. You know what? We're going to find out. If y'all coming with me to the extended, I'll see y'all there. If not, until next time. Whew. Again, if y'all want that collective reading, just let me know. And till next time, I'm out.